is Natasha Hicks, and I am the Assistant Director here at The, and I'm going to explain to you today how funding works for home education. Essentially, why does it take Thee so long to get me my funding when I send them my reimbursement requests? So I just want you to know that kind of how things are working on our end, how things work from Alberta Education, and what we are doing here. Hopefully you'll realize it's not really taking that long because there are quite a few things behind the scenes that we have to take care of before we can get that funding out to you. But anyways, we'll get started here. So first of all, a lot of families think that just September 1st, I'm enrolled with you, here's my reimbursements, I need my funding back. Unfortunately, Alberta Education does not give out funding to any school board in the month of September. And that's not just home ed, that is every school, every home ed board, that's everybody. The reason is that they like to give families the month of September to change your mind, to make your final decision, whatever it might be. I think even, sometimes because when you're with the previous school, sometimes they'll roll over that enrollment. So because they assume that you're going there, or you thought you were going there, and then the middle of the month comes along and you decide, actually I'm changing my mind. Alberta Ed says that's okay, but unfortunately then they don't give anybody funding in September. So with our school, we get our funding that first week of October, and now we have the task of putting that into all of the family funding accounts. So in Alberta, as with I'm sure most provinces, the funding is tied to the student. So the student is now registered at our school, the student gets that funding. But at the home education, it has to be in a family account. So we now have to determine how much funding each family account gets. So if you have 1 student, 3 students, 10 students, it doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that you have the right amount of funding in that funding account so that we can give you the proper amount of reimbursement. Now, in September, we're focused on doing all of the registrations so that we can help all of our families with all of the things that are related to home ed registration and getting started. So, helping you choose your curriculum or just getting your program started. There's a lot of, questions, and sometimes, especially when you're starting out, you're just not quite sure where you want to start. So we want to be here to help with that, and then we don't focus on the funding part because there's no funding to give anyways, so we just wait on that one. Anyways, then October comes and we're able to get the funding out to our families. So we need to make sure that all of the accounts are correct. And like I said, sometimes, you've got 3 kids, you've got 5 kids. Obviously if you have 1 student, it's probably a little bit more straightforward. 1 student, 1 parent, easy. But as you can imagine, most families have more than 1 student. And so we have to make sure that all of those accounts are correct and all of those numbers are correct, I guess. And it's different accounting. There's an accounting system and a student information system. So 2 different systems to enter the data into, and so it does take a little bit of time. Also in October, because we do encourage our families to use direct deposit for their funding, we're also inputting that information. So not only are we making sure your account has the correct amount of money in it, we're also making sure that we have the correct way to actually reimburse you. So address, that sort of thing, yes, if we're sending you a check, but then also that direct deposit information, which, like I say, we do prefer that, really just to look for speed on your end, because we all know things happen with Canada Post, checks get lost in the mail or sent to the wrong address or something, and they don't come back to us for a month sometimes. So direct deposit is better because you get your money. Literally, we get that in and money's going out every week, so we're able to get it to you faster. Another benefit that we have with our home ed board, once we are able to start processing all of our reimbursements, so once we've got the funding account set up and we've got the right amount of money in there and we've got all your banking information, we're actually able to pay you out your full funding amount right first off. So if you have 1 student, we can pay you out that full amount. You have 8 students, we can pay you out that full amount. Doesn't matter. As with your first reimbursement, we can do that, which is a nice thing. I know some home ed boards aren't able to do that. Some don't even start processing reimbursements until after the new year. And a lot of that has to do with when the funding comes from Alberta Education. On our end, we're able to do it right away. So that's a bit of a perk, even though it does take us until November to get that funding out to you for the first amount. And that's something as well. Once everything is set up, we do really try very hard to do everything in like chronological order. So if you sent in your funding, you did your registration and you got your reimbursement request to me in August, you're going to be the first person who's, we're one of the first people that's getting your reimbursement, because we do try to keep it in order. So if you sent it in first, you get it out first. So if you don't send it, you don't have to wait until October or November to send it in. That's kind of what I'm saying there. It'll be probably close to November before you're getting that first batch of reimbursements out. But again, that is, again, you can use your full amount right off the bat, and I can send you the full amount. And so we try to make sure that everything is correct in the month of October, so that November everybody's can get their funding out. So just kind of to summarize, September we're doing our registrations, which we're here to help everybody get started and get your program going. October we focus on getting all of the funding accounts set up accurately and everything set up so that we can start processing all of the reimbursements as smoothly as possible. And then in November the funds start going out, and again, if you give us that direct deposit information, like if we process it, whatever week we process it, it goes out that weekend. So within, I think the most is about 3 or 4 days it takes to get that deposit into your account, which is pretty fast, because if we mail it, it's going to be at least a week or two before you get it. So that is why we like to have the direct deposit information. I need to clarify something. When I said that you can get your full amount of funding with your first check in November, I need to clarify that is when you send me a reimbursement form with eligible receipts, I'm able to reimburse you your full amount. So if you send me that reimbursement form with those eligible receipts for your full amount of funding, as I said, it can be for 1 student or 10 students, it doesn't matter the amount, as long as I have your reimbursement form with valid receipts, I can reimburse you for that full amount first check in November. If you're needing some advice on how to fill out that reimbursement form and what kind of receipts are eligible, we do have a video with how to fill out the form, and we have a list of eligible items on our website. Anyways, that is it. That is why it takes us so long to get you that funding. And again, if you have any questions as you're doing it, you can always give us a call or send us an email. We're here to help you out.